Today, we're going to wrap up our series on what a simple children's show taught me about solid writing fundamentals. Let's get into it. In the first video, we briefly discussed some of the solid foundations of good storytelling that the show takes advantage of. In the second video, we began by discussing the urgent need that your character must face in order to hook your reader, and then we moved on to some of the aspects of the hero's journey that the Bible Adventures uses. In today's video, we're going to continue our discussion of how the Bible Adventures uses some aspects of the hero's journey to create a good story, even for toddlers. The Road of Trials. The Road of Trials is the crucible where the hero is forged and starts becoming the champion they were meant to be. This is where they encounter trials and tribulations through which they grow and mature. In the Bible Adventures, the Road of Trials is a literal road. It's a path that connects all the stops Emily will make along the journey. Each stop has a different clue that she will need to answer the question. Tension and drama. Yes, even a children's story benefits from a proper application of tension and drama, and the Bible Adventures does this surprisingly well for a children's show. In his book, Stein on Writing, Sol Stein gives a few ways in which we can introduce tension and drama into our work. One way is to have a character give an order that another character refuses to obey. For as long as the recipient of the command refuses to obey, we retain tension. As soon as the recipient obeys, or gets consequences for their refusal, the tension is broken. Another way he identifies is by the cliffhanger, and this is the method that the Bible Adventures chooses to employ. This is where we introduce a character to peril, and then just leave them to stew in it while we check in on another character. We could think of this as a more sophisticated version of peekaboo, where the author covers our eyes and says, "Where did the hero go? Where did the hero go?" Only to remove his hands a moment later and declare, "There he is!" But is Emily really in enough danger for the viewer to care if we cut away? The answer is yes. For as long as Shine's question remains unanswered, she is. So what the writers of the show do is, after she leaves Guy, they cut to a group of her forest friends. Shine often makes an appearance as mentor in these sections and helps the friends through a dilemma that mirrors the question Emily is trying to answer. But the most important point to remember is that Emily is nowhere in sight. The viewers don't know where she is or how she's doing along her journey because we're now focusing on her friends in the forest. After this brief interlude, we cut back to Emily along her journey. The cliffhanger ends and the tension is broken. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding the bell so YouTube will notify you when I upload new videos. And don't forget to check the description of this video for book recommendations as well as all the tools and resources I use in my writing and video production. Back to the video. The Innermost Cave and the Ordeal. Understandably, in a children's show like the Bible Adventures, literary concepts like the hero's journey must be condensed and abridged considerably. Here we have the Innermost Cave and the Ordeal essentially combined into one. In the Innermost Cave, the hero enters into the heart of the New World, a place full of peril and marvel. You might think that this is where things break down a little since Emily isn't in any real peril, but you'd be wrong. In a sense, Emily is in peril. She's in peril of not being able to answer the question given to her by Shine at the start of the quest. In the Ordeal is where the hero must face a dangerous external conflict, solve an important riddle, or face an internal conflict. In the Bible Adventures, this is where Emily must combine all her clues to solve the riddle, and usually she does it by now. This point in the story is represented by her visit to another character in the show, Mr. Music. Emily has a short conversation with Mr. Music, where the last piece of the riddle usually falls into place. Being a children's show, this tends to come in the form of a song that they sing together based on the topic of the episode. It's followed by a transition to the next phase of the journey that consists of short music videos with a couple catchy worship songs. Catharsis and the Return Home. Catharsis is the relief from emotions or the resolution of a story's main antagonism or conflict. After she's done with Mr. Music, Emily ends the last leg of her journey and returns home. It's there that she completes her quest and gives her answer to her mentor, Shine. At this point along the journey, she's usually used all 3 of her picture passes and pieced them together into an answer. Sometimes she has one left over and needs help from Shine to answer, but not often. When she delivers her answer to Shine, we have reached catharsis and the show ends. So let's wrap this up. Some of the reasons that I think the Bible Adventures is far more sophisticated than it needs to be are because of the way it focuses on the need of its protagonist, the way it handles conflict, the way it introduces the mentor and the mentor's gift, the threshold guardian, the road of trials, the way it introduces and handles tension and drama, the innermost cave of the story, the ordeal of the story, and how it brings the story home and deals with catharsis. And that wraps up our look at what a simple children's show taught me about solid storytelling fundamentals. I hope it helped. I'll see you in the next video. Good writing, and Calamus Gladio Fortior.